Mucky Duck, St. Joseph's Church in Galveston, White Oak Music Hall, 713 Music Hall, Do-Si-Do, the Big Barn in Woodlands. More concert information at kpft.org or the pledge line, 713-526-5738, option 1.
This is KPFT Houston, 90.1 FM and FM HD1.
Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as ARPANET, created by whom? You, we, the people of the United States, and others, of course, but now controlled by the billionaires. Folks, we are going to take it back, but we have some hurdles that folks will have to recover from because, folks, the Congress of the United States, the Congress elected mostly by our brothers and sisters on the MAGA side, have just passed the bill, the big, beautiful bill by El Señor Trump and the Speaker of the House, Johnson. Of course, there's a lot more to go. The Senate has to go through its thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But brothers and sisters, let me just give you a top line. If you are middle class, after it's all done, you are just going to be paying a whole lot more out of pocket. We'll go through that a little bit later. But anyway, without further ado, let's throw it to El Estudio with the one and only, this time, Jacques Van Bever and Howard Reynolds. How are we doing this morning?
All right, I got first billing that time.
You got first billing, man.
Well, it's about time you got first billing. You are the man, you know.
Thank you.
And good morning. Okay, what day is it in here anyway?
It is Thursday.
It's Thursday, man.
It's Neil Aquino Day.
It's Neil Aquino Day.
Yes, it is. And we're going to have a good show. I'm trying to get Sandy in here on Zoom, so it's going to take me a minute or two. Jack, go ahead. Do you have some wisdom for us this morning?
Yeah.
And reaching across to get some wisdom. And
All right,
I'll let you take it.
Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. How you doing this morning, Jack?
All right, I read your post this morning, and this is what came to my head. At the end of World War II, the U.S. and its allies divided the world amongst themselves. They saw how neoliberal economic policies created wealth. That's when the industrial and banking oligarchs started to work to install neoliberal economics here in America. The Reagan administration is when the Chicago boys flipped America to trickle-down economics. And through a series of deregulations of markets, media, and banking, the wealthy jumped on the backs of the people to create wealth for themselves. This is what has created the fascist policies we're seeing today. Too much wealth in too few hands.
That is so true. Too much wealth in too few hands. Are you ready to bring in Sandy yet, or should I let's introduce Neil?
Go ahead and introduce Neil. We're still seeing the little spinner here, so we're still spinning.
Okay, well, Neil, no problem. Neil Aquino is in the house. Neil has a lot to talk about today. How are you doing, Neil?
I'm doing all right. Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, studio. Good morning, Egberto. Good morning, local, national, and global Politics Done Right audience.
Yeah, well, look, let me tell you, Neil, it's great to have you here. I mean, I know you have a whole lot to discuss. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the sort of the topics we're going to have? You sent me a whole list over last night.
Well, one topic, our in Houston, our big, not beautiful police contract was ratified predictably unanimously by Houston City Council, and it contains significant raises for the police. As you and I were talking about before we came on the air, 60% of Houston's budget is police or fire, right?
Yeah.
60% of Houston's budget is police and fire, and it's depressing. The new budget, which will be voted on in a couple of weeks, um, new Houston city budget cuts everything with um,
Yeah, with
a small solid waste increase and uh, cuts everything else. It cuts bark, so your stray dogs. It cuts libraries. It cuts everything, and it and then federal funding. And that's the thing. They're doing this budget. I watched some of the hearings. The housing department is 98% contingent on federal funding. The health department is losing at least $62 million grants in federal funding. And if you live in this city, you know the deal. The stray dogs are everywhere. Councilwoman Tarsha Jackson has been emphasizing the stray dogs
Mm-hmm.
lately, which I've appreciated. FEMA, if there's a flood, the National Weather Service is being cut. FEMA, that you see the tornadoes in St. Louis where they won't bring aid. That you saw in Arkansas when Sarah Huckabee Sanders even couldn't get aid. So it's a budget that the police unions, the police and fire union, and one of the things that I asked, I went to a city budget hearing on Saturday, and one of the things I asked is, are we going to be paying the police time and a half to help suspend habeas corpus? Are we going to be suspending police? Are we going to be paying time and a half for the police to be assisting ICE to help disappear people to Libya, South Sudan, the torture prison in El Salvador? But it could well be that some of the police pay increases, were justified. I'm not. There is a public demand for police and fire resources. Whitmire did run on it, and he won, but it's really just a tragedy. I don't know. To think about these police unions, the fire union, as we've mentioned here, had a hand in Harris not getting the national endorsement of the International Firefighters Union. And so we have people who helped bring this nightmare to us, frequently don't live in the city or even the county, don't share the views of city residents, and they are taking this money out of the city, out of the county. They are supporting the people doing this to us, and we are cutting. There's going to be less mowing in the parks, fewer park rangers, and the discrepancies throughout the city of who has nice parks and who doesn't is really significant. So it's a disappointing budget, and it's we're just going to have to move forward, just like everything else. Just like I said off the air about the big beautiful bill, we're just going to have to move forward and
Yeah,
hope for a better day someday.
I gave the big beautiful bill another name in a post that I did yesterday. On my other show, I had on uh, uh, Alex Lawson, the executive director of Social Security Works, to discuss a whole lot of what is in this bill that just got passed.
Yeah,
He was running around Capitol Hill yesterday, and I caught him while he was in the halls talking talking to a to one of the representatives who voted for the bill. But I'll talk
sure.
about that a little later. Let me first see if because I want all our listeners to realize today we are in fund drive. We need to raise about $500 this morning at least. And I think if Sandy is ready, Sandy has some good stuff to tell us this morning. Is he ready, Howard? Or
Yes, he is.
all right, let's go to Sandy.
Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning,
And
Sandy.
good
How you doing?
morning, soldiers out there. Good morning, Jack and Howard. Hey, first off, we should start off right here, Egberto, acknowledging your first thank you. Do you see it up on your board?
Oh, I got to get to the screen. I'm going to do that right
Okay,
this
well,
minute. Yes, I do see it.
cut to the. Okay. Who do we have to thank, Egberto?
We have Betty. Love you. I love me some Betty. Betty, thank you so kindly for having been the first to contribute this morning. You're a wonderful person. Thank you very much. And Sandy, take it away.
Thank you. I'll be brief as possible here. I'd like to thank some other people that pledged to Politics Done Right leading up to the drive: Joseph, Linda, Billy, Isaac, Ola, Marlene, Stephen I, John G, Sherry, Jack. Well, that's a Jack in the studio. Jack, hey man, he's not only there working his butt off, he contributes too. Gina, thank you all for getting us off to a good start. So this fund drive that we're embarking on right now has a goal of $170,000, but thanks to sustaining pledges and pledges leading up to the drive in the month of May, good news, folks, we're across the $45,000 mark. So the hill that we have to climb is not as steep as it could be without sustainers. For those of you listening, a sustainer is someone that comes in with a specific amount of money per month. Could be $5 bill, could be a $10 bill. Some people even do $1,000 a month. If you join as a sustainer this drive, you're going to be matched with 50 bucks. So envision yourself doing a $5 pledge, and there's a nice thank you gift for that I'll talk about in a minute. A $5 a month pledge is greeted with a $50 bill. In effect, that's a $110 contribution to KPFT. The $10 bill becomes $170, and so on and so forth. Very powerful, and we do have to thank our anonymous and very generous donor for this. So thank you for that. If you're listening, do we have concert tickets? Yes, we do, but I'm not going to talk about them. In fact, nobody's going to talk about them because the FCC, well, if you read the law carefully, we really shouldn't be doing that. You heard an underwriting announcement, and we're going to stay within the confines of the law. However, you listeners, you can go to kpft.org and there's a full description of all the concert tickets available, or you can call 713-526-5738 option 1 and talk to someone on the phone where all that good stuff is available. You're not a musical person, maybe you're a political person, and for that reason you're listening to this show. We have a very special event, August 9th, and that's going to be Tom Hartman and Grant Peoples. That same $5 sustaining pledge will get you a ticket or $60. And again, available by phone, 713-526-5738, option 1. And you can be filling up the room. I think there are about 300 seats or so available for that event. Tom Hartman flying in from Portland, Grant Peoples driving in from Florida, and they're going to put on an evening for you on August 9th. So there it is. And we're going to rely on your contributions again, folks, to keep free speech radio in Houston going. I'm going to let Egberto tell you about the threats to free speech, but it's pretty darn obvious to all of us. Some of our affiliate stations are already feeling the pinch. At KPFT, we're still doing okay, but we're always drive to drive, and here we are in our May-June fund drive, hoping to be okay by the time it's all over. One more time, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. All the thank you gifts are nicely displayed up there this time around, so you can browse around, click donate, and follow the bouncing ball. Egberto, back to you. It's not
Thank
Monday,
you so
is it?
kindly. It's not Monday, Sandy. You can't have a tongue twist on Thursday, man. Get that cup of coffee. Anyway, look, folks, let's see. First of all, in the chats, I want to say thank you to Hairless Kit Kat. Hello, Hairless Kit Kat. Love that name. We also have Margaret Ryan, who says, "Good morning from Chattaroy, Washington. My God, you are up early for the show." We also have in the house Miss T. Marie 83. She says, "Best way to start my morning." Thank you, sis. We also have, she says, "Thank you for the hard work." Lisa Blair from Atlanta, welcome. Of course, we have Harry, who discovered the chat, and he is in the chat. It's great to have a chat for Harry. Otherwise, he's going to call. Harry, we love you, brother. We love you. Paul Fleming from Atlanta, Georgia is in the house, and Eric Hayes from Kingwood, Atascocita. On the Substack is Sharon, Victor, Adam WC. I feel like Lloyd Bridges in the movie Airplane. His quote was, "I picked the wrong week to quit drinking." Ashley Gaze, hello. Roseanne Krinsky, Ivan Gould, Mark KJ says, morning. Egberto from Chesapeake, Virginia. Randall Baxley says, does anyone hear the squawking? The squawking, is that little feedback that's coming in? Yeah, we're going to try to resolve it. I think it's only on our side that I think the studio has it clean. And by the way, Adam W is from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Look, guys, thank you for being here. Before I continue with what's happening in DC and other places, I want to give my quick pitch, and it's the following. For those that are listening, we have a lot of work to do as an educational type station, 501c3, etc. We have, as Sandy just mentioned, to follow certain rules as far as what we can say on air. But one of the things we can say is this is your station that needs your support, and every type of support is valid. Sandy talked about having anybody who goes for $5 a month or so. We're talking about being able to get some tickets to go see the one and only Tom Hartman here in Houston. So check it out. Go to kpft.org and see all the things that we have to offer as well. And remember, do select Politics Done Right as the program you are supporting. All right, let me get back to Neil. Neil has some prescient information that he has for us. Brother Neil, talk to me.
Hi, yeah, so this is on my Houston Democracy Project, HoustonDemocracyProject.com on the blog. And I attended a meeting this past Monday of the Texas Democratic Women Harris County. It's a club, Democratic club within the county, and they had a panel of judges and criminal court judges. So locally you hear all the time the judges are letting people out who they should not let out. And so the judges have started to push back, and basically they were saying that the decisions about bail and we keep that they're letting people out willy-nilly, letting murderers out. Mayor Whitmire keeps repeating it. And it's not the case. And they made some really good points that what really is going on in part is that the Republicans want to capture the civil courts. So we have criminal courts, civil courts, also juvenile, all sorts of courts. But that the real issue is the civil courts, and they use the criminal court judges to capture the civil courts and win the judgments in the civil courts. And they talked about how Elon Musk's money will be in the county again. It was 2 years ago, in last year, in the 2024 election. And they talked about better defending themselves. So I just want to put this narrative out there. We keep hearing the judges are letting everyone out. It's not the case. It's mandated by the Texas Constitution. And as you can imagine, the real issue is money. They don't care. If they cared about law and order, you'd hear some of the people complaining about the courts, complaining about the January 6th people being let out. You'd hear about the cuts to the FBI. You'd hear a whole different narrative. So when you hear these complaints about the judges, they're following the Texas Constitution. They're not sitting there thinking, how do we let murderers out? And it's really about a capture of our civil court system and Elon Musk's money, which is everywhere. And just think, you're the richest man in the world. You can be involved in elections across the country at the local level. So they are working to put that narrative out there. And Mayor Whitmire, for whatever reason, He works so closely with the police union, so closely with the Republicans, puts that narrative out, but it just ain't so.
That is shameful. I mean, I want to reiterate something that you said. And by the way, folks, this is actually, while this is a local issue with judges, this is a way that all throughout the country, whatever county you're in,
Yeah.
this is how they are attempting to capture the judiciary. I did a piece over 7 years ago here at KPFT where I pointed out that the conservative and Republican orthodoxy realizes that the policies they support are anathema to what most Americans want. Americans don't want it. Americans want policies supported by progressives. So the only solution they have is to kind of make it seem like the policies from the progressives are woke, whatever woke mean to them. I actually admire the word woke, which means I'm completely awake. But that's their intent, to make it seem like these policies are woke. And when you dig deep within, you realize that, oh my God, these are the policies that I want. We have many Democrats that fall under what we call the neoliberal persuasion, that in effect should actually be considered Republican or conservative light. And I think the current mayor of Houston falls under that domain. And what they're doing is doing a whole lot to mislead people and have people vote against their interests, votes that will actually harm them. If you take a look at the vote that just passed in the Congress just a few minutes ago, the belief that many have is that these are tax cuts that are going to go across the board. Far from that, what is going to turn out is, even for the middle class, which will get a tiny tax cut, that tax cut will be lost in the changes to the Affordable Care Act, which will cost you more money than the tax that you actually saved. I mean, the things that these folks do are well designed, well calculated, and go under the assumption that our audience, you the people, are dumb. That's what they believe. Well, what we do here at Politics Done Right is to ensure that all the tricks that they use to have you vote against your interests, all the tricks that they use to fool you, is actually open. We throw disinfectant in it. That's why we have Neil Aquino here on Thursday disinfecting the local and national news. That's why we have, I mean, even our brothers in the studio. You have Howard doing his thing and Jack doing his thing. Because I tell you something, folks, there's nothing like truth. And when you have your minds open to truth, we can actually get forward. Hey, Sophia Moreau is on Substack from Quebec City, as in Canada. I thought you're supposed to be here in Houston, girl. Anyway, she's the president of the Houston Peace and Justice Center. Thank you for being here and enjoy that beautiful city. All right, folks, before I continue, I want to do a quick pitch here again. Look, what we do, as all of you know, is very important work. Right here in Houston, on air, we're out here pointing out what folks need to know so that they can make the appropriate choices for their own life. But with all that's going on, first of all, we don't get federal money. Okay, we don't get federal money. And as much as NPR is scared about getting cut and all of that, we would love to get federal money, but we don't. Here's the deal: we get supported by whatever you do, whatever you provide for us at this station, KPFT 90.1 FM Houston. What you guys do here is what allows us to do what we do here. So I'm asking you to call 713-526-5738 and hit extension 1 this time. Not 2 to be on air, 1 to go ahead and say, you know what, we want to support this program. And by the way, I have this thing out here for anybody who goes ahead and donate $250 in the next few minutes. We have, guess what? Coffee with Egberto. I think Robin has already placed it on the website as well. I'm not sure. I got to check. But Coffee with Egberto, $250, $250. And by the way, none of that comes to me. Zero. It all goes to the studio so that we can continue doing what we're doing. $250, Coffee with Egberto. And remember, you can go and get the t-shirt as well for $100. But what I'm going to do is I hope Sandy is not sipping on his coffee quite yet, so that he can kind of tell us a little more good stuff that they can get by supporting Politics Done Right on KPFT.
Thank you, Egberto. Yeah, it's a wonderful T-shirt. In fact, a lot of shows have T-shirts. I mean, if you go to kpft.org, there's a rotating carousel of the pictures of all the shirts that we have. Each one's $100 and goes to support community radio, commercial free, and pretty much free of, grant money and underwriting monies coming in. And you heard an underwriting announcement, but altogether, 95% of what we need comes from this fund drive, comes from you during the fund drive. So we're asking kindly once again. Emerson Unitarian Church is the name of the venue where Tom Hartman and Grand Peoples will be performing. I was kind of stumbling over it last time. My apologies. And that's on August 9th. That's a $60 ticket or a $5 a month sustainer. Now, if just 4 or 5 of you get tickets for that, a single ticket, and you do it on a sustainer, it's greeted with a match. And Egberto's at his goal. It's that easy. And you get the benefit of going out to hear the wisdom of Tom Hartman. We think this is going to be an interactive event. We're still kind of planning out the last few details with a moderator so the audience can ask some questions. For those of you that are familiar with Grant Peoples, he's a very clever singer-songwriter. He will be performing as well. We have another cruise on Clear Lake on September 6th. I mean, what could go wrong? Dead on the Lake, and this one's gonna be with my friends Matt Appel and Tom Richards. I'll be there as well. We're gonna leave from the South Shore Harbor Marina on September 6th from 1 to 4 p.m. And those tickets are $150 for a single ticket or $275 for a pair. Yes, adult beverages and food, and possibly some trivia being played on that boat ride, are all going to occur on September 6th. Another fine thank you that we have for your participation in this fund drive. We have just a few tickets left for our June 6th show at the Heights Theater. I was there yesterday, met with Steve from the Heights Theater, and a number of our staff and volunteers were there as we begin to plan out our 55th birthday celebration on June 6th at 7 o'clock. And again, just a few seats remaining, general admission seating, $150 for a ticket or a $12.50 per month pledge. Everything that we talk about in terms of pricing may be broken up into monthly amounts. We prefer a sustainer. Again, it's greeted with a match. And the sustaining pledges, folks, they're powering this station nicely. If everybody were to double what they're giving now, some of you may already be a sustainer. You say, well, I'm already a sustainer. If it's a $5 a month sustainer, consider maybe making it 10. If you're giving 10, make it 15. Bump it $5. These little increments from a lot of people, it's changing the whole dynamic in terms of our financial situation, and it's a work in progress. We have lots of work yet to do, but your participation on this drive and in supporting free speech community radio in Houston will go a long way. Egberto, back to you.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. For the folks that are listening on the internet, sorry for the feedback. I think there's something that we're going to have to figure out a little bit. It's not happening over on the speaker side, but anyhow, look, thank you to Betty. Betty is our sole supporter so far this morning. We need to raise another $400 or so. So I want to ask you so kindly to give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1, and donate whatever you can. Again, Tom Hartman, $5 a month does that magic to get those Tom Hartman tickets. Of course, again, breakfast with or coffee with Egberto is a $200 contribution and a $250 contribution. And as well, you can go to kpft.org, hit that donate button. Remember to select Politics Done Right as the program that you are supporting. Anyway, let's continue with the program. What else have you got for me, brother Neil Aquino. I know you've been all over Harris County doing a lot of work, man. I think we're gonna start calling you the Harris County James Brown.
Well, well, I appreciate it. I attended. I've mentioned I've attended a city budget hearing on Saturday. You wish that more people would be engaged in the process. Um, Attended the meeting that I referenced. The one thing that was talked about at the meeting about the judges was that many of our lawyers are not stepping up, and this has been a more of a focus. Every old lawyer takes an oath to the Constitution, and we are having these attacks on judges. We are having these attacks on the Constitution, and many of our Democratic supporting lawyers, or every lawyer, every attorney, and we really need some of our professional classes to step up. So if you're an attorney out there, first donate to Egberto this morning. That'll be a great start to your day. But we really need some. You saw the big law firms that have caved to Trump, and that was one of the focuses at the meeting. And I want to make a pitch as well for the show. Egberto really works hard to get it right. Before we come on the air, I come on the air on Thursday mornings. We talk about what we're going to talk about. If there's a fact or something I've said that Egberto doesn't feel I've sufficiently backed up, he'll ask me about it or ask me about the sources. It's always clear that the callers and wherever the audience wants to take the program, that's where we'll go that day. So what you see on the air or what you hear on the air is exactly what goes on off the air. And there's never been more important time for these voices to be heard that you're hearing on Politics Done Right. You knew already you weren't going to hear it in the mainstream media, but now you double know that you're not going to hear it on the mainstream media in this environment. So I encourage people, please, to call. Here on Thursday mornings, we talk almost exclusively about local stuff. This is a giant city, and that's an underserved giant county, and that's an underserved need. So we really try to get out the word on Thursday mornings. Hopefully, we spur some local action, and this program is essential to that. So I encourage you to call and support the show. What you see and what you hear is really what you're getting.
Wow, thank you so kindly for that, Neil. I do appreciate that. I want to bring Patrick into the conversation. Patrick is on line 2. Brother Patrick, come on in.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, brother.
I'll apologize. I'm going to be off topic a little bit, but I want to touch on the topic that we had yesterday when we were talking about the way we're treating women. And then on the 3 o'clock program, we talked about the 2 billionaires that essentially bought off Abbott and our government. We're not only worried about quality of life, but we're worried about people's rights. And at least one of those 2 billionaires that are heavily influencing Texas legislature believe that women should not own property or businesses.
Wow.
J.D. Vance has said that women shouldn't vote and is interested in eliminating that. And Elon Musk, if you're not a parent, I wanted to have kids, but I knew that I wasn't going to be the best provider financially. So I made the decision not to have them because I love them that much. But Elon Musk believes because I'm not a parent, I shouldn't vote either. So I wanted to let the listeners know that that's the type of people that we're voting in, and that's what they think of us.
Wow. Well, I did that. You just told me something I didn't know. I didn't know about the the women and voting from some of these guys, and that is just abhorrent. Anyway, what else have you got for me, Patrick?
That's it.
Thank you,
Have a
my
great day.
brother. Thank you, my brother. Let's go to Harry. Harry, give me a quick one. Okay, Harry, you're on.
Morning. Yeah, sorry about yesterday afternoon, Bert. I lost my internet connection, and I didn't realize when I went back to the last 2 minutes, you were talking, as Patrick was mentioning there, about the billionaires. It was going in and out. And then I heard what you said because I had called earlier talking about South Africa, and you said just call tomorrow. But I was calling because I wanted to tell you uh, what Alex Lawson is. He's doing a good job. I like that video you played. I'm sorry that big ugly bill passed in the House. There was a person I heard on NPR, a black woman who interrupted in a wheelchair the hearings yesterday, that she will die if this bill, big ugly bill, passes because she gets her meds. I'm just, for Medicaid, if that goes away, people like her are in serious trouble because they won't be able to afford another insurance, and that really, that really saddens me. And I wanted to tell you that,
Now,
but
I want to interrupt you, Harry. Thank you for bringing that up, but I want to interrupt for one reason. You said if the bill passed, this woman thinks she would die. Let me just say that this is not hyperbole based on how these bills are laid out. It is not hyperbole. In Texas, we lose several hundred people every single year because we did not accept the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. So what that woman said, what Harry's putting out there, is not hyperbole. But I also want, again, we are an educational station. I want to let everybody know their rights and the abilities that they have. This bill just passed the House. That's it. It passed the House. I want all of you to understand something here. The way it works, this is educational for all of us. The way it works, it's not the law yet. It is not the law yet. Steve, I want to give you a big thank you for your contribution. Steve, thank you so kindly for your support. This is not law yet. It still has to go through the Senate. And when the Senate is done with it, it has to go through, if they don't accept the bill as is, it has to go through what they call, I forgot the term that they use to mangle the differences. So you still have a lot of time if you realize that this bill will have a negative effect on you. So, my brothers and sisters, this is not the time to acquiesce. This is not a time to give up. This is not the time to throw your hands up in the air and say, oh my God, it's all over. There is still time for you to exercise your rights. Your rights. And it is our job to tell you that. So, brothers and sisters that are listening to my voice, you still have agency, you still have what it takes to go out there and get whatever the job done in your view. Harry, I need to go to Bruce, but thank you so kindly for your call. I'll talk to you at 3, Harry. Let's go
I
to
hope Alex
Bruce.
Lawson keeps doing a good job, and this bill
Yeah,
will fail in the Senate.
thank
Take
you,
care,
brother.
guys.
Thank you. Let's go to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Good morning, Alberto. Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning, my brother. Talk to me. And by the way, Neil is in the house too.
Okay. I have to wait to the first because I'm on a pension, but I'm gonna score me one of those beautiful T-shirts again this year. Um, Elon
Thank you,
Musk.
brother.
Elon Musk says you can't show me a child that's starving because of my actions. Well, um, Bill Gates ought to give him a call and take him up on that and say, meet me on my plane tomorrow. Let's take a little trip. Elon Musk should have to go and see for himself, look into the hollow eyes and distended belly and spindly legs of a starving child, into the tearful eyes of a mother of a starving child. The other thing I've got is Trump keeps saying that plane belongs to America, not him. Well, they're going to have to gut it anyway before they refit it, and it belongs to us. While it's empty, after it's gutted, there's room for some food pallets there, isn't there? So, if Musk is going to make a statement like that, call him on it. You can't show me, we can show you. But anyway, that's my rant for the morning. I give to KPFT. Who else would let me call in and talk about a possum in the backyard or any of the dumb stuff I say? You guys
Uh,
let me on there. Appreciate it.
Brother, first of all, Bruce, none of our callers, none, absolutely none, are dumb. I love you all, and all of you are exactly all of you are exactly who we are. So thank you so kindly for your call, Bruce. You have a
And
wonderful
let
rest
me
of your
let
day.
me
Yeah, let
you don't
Neil
have
come
to
on.
go. You don't have to get on an airplane to see from the Chronicle. 700,000 needy Texans could be knocked off federal food stamp programs or have their benefits slashed under this bill. A number of them in the 18th congressional district of Houston, according to the Chronicle, and of course Sylvester Turner. We saw Jerry Connolly, the congressman from Virginia, Democrat, die a few days ago. He's the one who defeated AOC for the oversight ranking committee member. The cuts are impact you right here. The snap cuts will be affected um, right here, and I think that's a good time to mention that we also need some generational change in in the Democratic Party. And the bill passed only 215 to 214. If the 18th congressional district, Sylvester Turner had a representative, it would have been that much harder. Would have been that much harder.
Actually, I don't think the bill would have passed because remember there are two Democratic voters that are missing. Both the what's his name that you just mentioned and Turner. So I mean,
Right.
I look, I don't want to disparage the departed, but I want to tell you something. You ought to know that again, you ought to know when it's time to say I've done my part. Sylvester has done his part, and the representative who died, I can't remember his name, has done their
Conley.
part. Conley, these were good guys, don't I no disparagement, but their
Right.
time was up. Their time was up, and they should have
We didn't need a 70-year-old house freshman here in Houston.
exactly, exactly. All right, thank you very much, Bruce. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Let's go to D. Come on in, D.
Give a comment. Yeah, if progressives and Democrats want to overcome the bigotry that causes people to vote against their interests, then there has to be a radical change in our economic relationships, specifically the federal taxation. We propose a complete abolishment of federal taxation because it serves no purpose in a fiat monetary scheme. In other words, creation of the dollar is based simply on the faith and trust of our national existence, and the only function federal taxation serves and provides is a portal for tax haters to instigate and exploit bigotry as means of garnering political support in their anti-tax work. Because as soon as the gambit of federal taxes are off the table, then we can clearly debate issues of our progress without the bigotry of I don't want my tax dollars funding welfare queens and all that. The dollar is naturally a deficit creation, and the ridiculous argument that those grandkids will pay whatever will die as uneventfully as the gold and silver standard did. Thank you.
Okay, D, don't leave. Let me just say this real quickly to you, okay? She left already. Let me tell you, D had a statement ready to go. I don't know who D is. A lot of folks are going to listen to what D say and just, what is she talking about? There is a lot of truth into what she said about fiat money and the tax system and how it works. But again, it require what she's talking about. An economic system is man-made, and notice I said man-made. Yes, I mean man-made. And there are a lot of different arrangements that can be made. And I just want to say one thing. Whenever we have a recession, okay, think about this. Whenever we have a recession, what has really changed? Has the amount of people who need to be fed changed? No. Have the means of production changed? None of that changed. The only thing that has changed is that we have a defect in our economic system that doesn't know how to handle itself. And I don't have enough time because we got to do some pitching here to go into this in detail. But at some other time, I wish D would call back where we can go over what she said and not have those who listen to her and just said she's some sort of a quack. She's not. but there are some other things that would have to change before what she talks about is actually realized. Let's go to the general manager in the studio, El Señor Sandy. Come on in, Sandy.
Thank you. It's interim.
Okay,
Still,
interim manager. Come on in,
folks.
Sandy.
Thank you, Egberto, and thanks for this great program this morning, this lively conversation on really important topics. It just seems like there's not enough time in the world to talk about all that's going on. But KPFT is here, and we've been here now for over 55 years providing community radio without commercials. It's been listener supported this whole time. It's a remarkable, unbroken chain of thought and kindness that's come our way from people calling or mailing a check to the station. You know, the little bits that people donate, some not so little, some do donate $5, some donate 500. Steve and Betty have gotten us to a good start this morning. But with that, we're about $270 shy of our goal. And a couple of you doing a $5 a month sustainer would get us another couple of $100 closer. You go, wait a minute, 5 times 12, that's 60. Yes, but we have an anonymous, very generous donor in our midst that is insistent that KPFT survive. I hope you feel the same way. They're going to greet each sustaining pledge, new sustaining pledge, with a $50 bill. So that $60 pledge becomes $110, hence the math. 2 of those, well, 3 of those, and we're at our goal. It's that simple. We're not asking for much. We're asking for what you can do for your part. We don't send a bill in the mail to you. We don't have a subscription service where you get permissions or password to log on. There's nothing like that that comes your way. KPFT is free to the ears, free on the airwaves, but it's not free altogether. It costs around $52,000 a month. Now, I call myself interim general manager. Pacifica at all 5 stations have searches on for general managers replacing at all 5 stations interim positions, such as the one that I hold. If and when that occurs, this has to be done at a salaried rate that's within standards for Pacifica, and this is going to add more to our burden. So I'm hopeful that this fund drive will go well, even though we have our tickets at kpft.org and we're not talking about concerts. You can still see it. You can still view it. Again, there are nice descriptions and pictures of all of our thank you gifts. Tom Hartman and Grant Peoples, the Dead on the Lake cruise, the tickets remaining for Rodney Crowell at June 6th at the Heights Theater, which is our 55th birthday celebration. All of that's up on kpft.org, or call 713-526-5738, option 1. Let's get this program across the goal. It's the first one of this fund drive where we're coming on and asking in person. And it's important to set a good example for the rest of the day. It's important to get this fund drive rolling in a good direction so that in a couple of weeks, maybe 3, we're at our goal and we truck on as we've done for 55 plus years. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. And again, Politics Done Right has a t-shirt that you can get for a $100 donation, and many of the other shows do as well. kpft.org displays each of those t-shirts for you to look at and see what looks good on you. So join us, won't you? $5 a month, $10 a month, do your part, whatever that might be. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. All right, let's go to Brian. Brian, come on in, my dear brother.
Yes. Good morning. I hope your fund drive goes well.
Thank you.
Did you see the difference between the way MSNBC portrayed the meeting with the South African president versus what really took place? Did you see this?
I saw both of them. In fact, I watched the entire thing that MSNBC didn't cover. MSNBC just stepped out of it for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brainwashing. That's telling the people that listen to MSNBC that Elon Musk is pulling the strings. That Elon Musk is a South African.
Mm-hmm.
That's total brainwashing.
Okay.
That's what really happened, is what was portrayed if you look deep into it. Now, Amy Goodman, many, many years ago, said that a off-duty New York City police officer shot and killed a unarmed black motorist. Now, she didn't say anything else, but the off-duty police officer that shot the black man was black. Okay? That's
And
more
what?
brainwashing.
All right. Let me just add to that. I don't know what you're trying to imply here, but let me first say, okay, I don't want to spend a lot of time on South Africa because what the president did was just a disaster for a president to go out on the national stage and lie like he did, and for otherwise smart person like you to think there is any validity to Afrikaners being in some sort of a genocide. It speaks more about you than it speaks about anything else, because the reality is not too hard to find. When it comes to an announcer saying a police officer shot a black person, I don't know why you have to say a white police officer shot a black person. Those of us who understand American politics understand why and how the police system was formed, and also understand that the police in general, to a black person, to a person of color, and I am a black person, a person of color, a Latino, all of that all put together, I don't consider my good friends, both Neil and Bruce over here in Kingwood, white guys. They see my reaction to police officers when I am with them. Okay, because whether it's a black police officer or a white police officer, black bodies of color are treated differently. And you know what? Most people who are decide to try to think acknowledge that I'm a professional. I'm a professional. I'm an engineer. I'm an author. I'm all these things. And when I see a cop, my heart is in my throat. And it doesn't matter what the color of that cop is, because the institution itself, many of us consider a clear and present danger to our lives. So, my brother, I understand where you're coming from. I simply think you're wrong, but thank you so kindly for your call. Let's go to Johnny. Come on in, Johnny.
Yeah, you addressed that very well. And Brian or Brain, we've addressed this specific complaint of yours months ago. You keep bringing it up over and over again. Amy Goodman is a radio broadcast, and she also transmits on Free Speech TV and other television venues. If you look at the broadcast, she shows pictures of people. Okay, get over it, for Christ's sakes. Quit your agenda. We have a different agenda at saving this country. And by the way, speaking of media, I had to rush out for an appointment yesterday around 9 o'clock in the morning, and the internet went down. So I had to switch from the internet to the analog, terrestrial TV. And guess what I saw? My poor dog had to watch Howie Mandel dressed up in a ridiculous hat talking to Jenna Bush or the other twin sister and some other unknown white blonde female, while the Downton Abbey crowd gathered behind a barricade looked on with awe. You know what I'm talking about? You know, like in Downton Abbey when one of the royals gets married and all the town peasants and pheasants look on and cheer, yay, yay, and they stand behind barricades and all. That's what I was looking at. A whole bunch of people like that just watching mindlessly, brainlessly, aimlessly, watching Howie Mandel discussing some stupid stuff that doesn't matter to anybody. And why I'm bringing this up is that I hope that is not the bellwether for this country. I hope that we have enough people that are not brain dead, are not just passive watchers of Howie Mandel, that they are actually angry enough to activate and overcome the stupidity of people like Brain and Breitbart. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Johnny. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Neil, you have anything you want to add before I do another quick pitch?
Well, we were talking about police. The Trump people ended the consent decrees with the Justice Department for, I think it was 6 police departments,
Yes.
including Louisville and Minneapolis. And they made the point, of course, to do the Minneapolis just days before the anniversary of the murder of George Floyd.
That speaks for itself. I mean, and again, folks, look, I don't expect people to, I mean, and I always use Bruce as an example because we had a great encounter with a cop on a bike, and he saw my reaction when we were, when he was waving and trying to get their attention, and for me, it was like, let's get the hell out of Dodge. I understand if your reality, not, I shouldn't say your reality, I should say your experience, because both of us are reality, but your experience is different than my experience. But at least, just like I accept your experience, accept mine because it is truthful. Now, here's the deal, folks. We only have about 8 minutes left for the program, and we are only have two contributors online right now at KPFT. I want to ask you so kindly to. I know a lot of you don't like to interrupt the show to go ahead and make the call or go to kpft.org. But I'm going to ask you to do it now. Go to kpft.org, hit that donate button, and select whatever you can. Remember, we're also trying to get sustainers. Sustainers give us a good cash flow that we know it's dependent, and it reduces the amount of time we have to spend asking you for money. So if you do something like $5 a month or $10 a month, a cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee, you don't really feel that. But the impact that you actually have on our, I hate to speak this way because some people think it's hyperbole, but the impact you have on our democracy, being able to talk, you see points of view from Brian all the way to Johnny, from Harry all the way to Patrick. I mean, you get to hear our voices, which is what this program is all about. All of our voices. We don't always disagree. We can agree, we can disagree, we can agree to disagree. But please support us however best you can. 713-526-5738, extension number 1, and give whatever you can. Sustainers is what we're hoping for because it's matched by a $50 contribution from a good benefactor. $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month. I do $10 a month. And I do the show. I don't get paid for this show. Let me just tell you, nothing that you give comes to me. I don't get paid to be on the radio. I just feel honored to be on air so that we can get this message out. Right? So 713-526-5738, extension number 1. I'm going to pass it to Sandy one more time before we kind of close this baby down. I think Sandy may be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I didn't mention, and that is our brick garden out front. A couple of weeks back, we added to that, and we're in the glide path of Hobby Airport. The top, but our 1930s shiplap building is so well insulated, you can't even hear a thing in the studio. It's a great location for a radio studio. But the point being, you're about probably, I don't know, maybe about 3,000 feet up, a couple thousand feet, the 2,000-foot view of Houston as you're approaching Hobby at that point, maybe a little less. And you could peer out the window and start to see that patch of bricks that's growing. What am I talking about? Talking about sustaining pledges. $25 a month sustaining pledge, again, greeted with a $50 bill, or a $50 a month sustaining pledge gets you a 4x8 brick for $25 or an 8x8 brick for $50 a month. Both of those can be purchased one time for $300 or for $600. You can engrave, inscribe whatever you want in that brick, maybe thanking Egberto, maybe thanking KPFT for providing a free speech platform. There are all kinds of dedications on those bricks, some to themselves, some to others. But it's a statement, and being a brick in the ground, cemented properly, it's going to be there a while. We hope to fill up that whole front yard, that whole front plaza on Caroline Street with these bricks. It's a significant contribution. Just one of you purchasing one of those bricks, either size, Egberto's at his goal. But right now, we're still around $270 away from our $500 goal with a few precious minutes left to keep this discussion alive here this morning, keep KPFT alive altogether. So folks, please consider it. We have no place else to turn but to our listening audience. You've been very generous all these years. We're asking one more time in this fund drive. Come on, let's get this together. And the more sustainers we have, the fewer fund drives and fund drive days we will have going forward. For instance, normally we would be back in fund drive this year in late summer in August. Our summer sizzle is what we called it. Well, we're going to take a summer vacation from that summer sizzle. This is it for the fiscal year, making it even more important that you consider supporting us. We must make our goal on this drive. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. You can look at those thank you gifts and then click the donate button and make your contribution that way. But don't sit idle, become radioactive. Come on, let's get the ball rolling. Let's make the goal this morning. We have still another 5 minutes. 713-526-5738. Egberto, back to you. This is a great discussion this morning. I
Thank
don't
you
think
so
there's
kind.
enough time in the world to cover everything. Yeah.
Thank you so
Go ahead.
kindly, Sandy. Appreciate that. I want to give a big, big, big thank you to Margaret, who gave us a sustainer. And Margaret is from the beautiful state of Washington, Chattaroy, Washington. Thank you so kindly
Okay.
for that. We do appreciate that. We do appreciate that. Neil, I'm going to end with a small pitch. So I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about the Houston Democracy Project. Let me just tell you, folks, I love me some Neil, because Neil is, when I talk about him being the hardest working, I'm not going to say the word that he doesn't like me to say about him, but the hardest working ex in Harris County, really all over the place. In fact, he's going to be in Kingwood later on today, talking to Indivisible Houston group. So anybody who wants to meet Neil in person, go to the meeting at Indivisible Group. It should be on the Indivisible Group website. And I tell you, you will hear some good info from him. I don't know if I'm gonna see you tonight, Neil, because I got a lot of work to do, brother. But thank you for all that you, Neil Aquino, does. Tell us a little about the Houston Democracy Project.
Great. The Houston Democracy Project, it's at houstondemocracyproject.com, and an emphasis just on local democracy in Houston, Houston City Council, street protest as well. I think that's going to be really important. The June 14th protests coming up in Houston and across the country, many locations around the county and the area, are going to be a big deal. And so no matter where you are in the country, Washington State, the great sustaining contribution we just got here, I bet you'll have a chance to do that as well. So please check out the Houston Democracy Project. Local democracy matters a great deal, and we'd have a better community, frankly, if we had some more local engagement.
Absolutely so, absolutely so. And folks, I'm going to end. First of all, I want to thank all of you guys for listening. But I want to point out, remember, the bill passed the House. Do remember, it's not over. You still have agency, you still have power, you still can get in touch with not only your congressperson, but you can still get in touch now, especially with your senator, if you think this bill is wrong for you. I can't tell you how to vote. I can't tell you what to do. At 3 o'clock I can, but I can't do that here. But what we can educate here. What I can tell you, my brothers and my sisters, if you understand what this bill does and it is not in concert with your life, call your senator. You can call your senator, not call, you can call your senator, and you can actually get it done. All right, I got 1 more minute to say this. Folks, a lot of you wait until the end because you want to hear the entire show. You can go to kpft.org and donate after the show. And please do remember to select Politics Done Right as the show that you're supporting. Likewise, please go ahead and you can still call 713-526-5738 extension 1, and also point out that your contribution is for Politics Done Right. I got to get out of here. Howard is kicking me out. So here is the deal. Thank you, Neil, for all that you do. HoustonDemocracyProject.com. Thank you so kindly, all of you that are out there. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
KPFT is sponsored in part by these Houston music venues who've provided concert tickets for the fund drive. Coffee House Live at St. Andrews, the Continental Club, Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, McGonagall's Mucky Duck, St. Joseph's Church in Galveston, White Oak Music Hall, 713 Music Hall, Do-Si-Do, the Big Barn in Woodlands. More concert information at